Okay, T. Tabby, an old maid, either from Tabitha, a formal antiquated name, or else from a tabby cat, old maids being often compared to cats, to drive tab, to go out on a party of pleasure with a wife and family. Tace. Silence, hold your tongue. Tace is Latin for a candle, a jocular admonition, to be silent on any subject. Tackle, a mistress, also good clothes. The cull has tipped his tackle, rum giggling. The fellow has given his mistress good clothes. A man's tackle the genitals. Taffy, i.e. Davy, a general name for a Welshman, St. David being a tutelar saint of Wales, Taffy's Day, the 1st of March, St. David's Day. Tag rag and bobtail, an expression meaning an assemblage of low people, the mobility of all sorts, to tag after one like a Tantany pig, to follow wherever one goes, just like Saint Anthony is followed by his pig. Tail, a prostitute, also a sword. Taken in, imposed on, cheated. Tale tellers, persons said to have been formerly hired to tell wonderful stories of giants and fairies, to lull their hearers to sleep. Talesman, the author of a story or report. I'll tell you my tale and my talesman. Tale-bearers, mischief-makers, incendiaries in families. Tall boy, a bottle or 2-quart pot. Tawly men, brokers that let out clothes to the women of the town. See rabbit suckers. Tallywags or tarrywags, a man's testicles. Tame, to run tame about a house, to live familiarly in a family with which one is upon a visit. Tame army, the city-trained bands. Tandem, a 2-wheeled chaise, buggy or noddy drawn by 2 horses, one before the other, that is, at length. Tangia, a room in Newgate where debtors were confined, hence called tangerines. Tanner, a 6pence. The kiddie tipped the rattling cove, a tanner for luck. The lad gave the coachman 6pence for a drink. Tandalin tart, a cirrivirent human excrement. Tantrums, pet or passion. Madame was in her tantrums. Tant wivy, away they went. Tant wivy, away they went full speed. Tant wivy was the sound of the hunting horn in full cry of that, or that of a post horn. Tap, a gentle blow. A tap on the shoulder and a rest to tap a girl. To be the first to do so, in allusion to a beer barrel. To tap a guinea, to get it changed. Tappers, shoulder tappers, bailiffs. Tape, red tape, brandy, blue or white tape, gin. Taplash, thick and bad beer. Tar, don't lose a sheep for a halfpenny worth of tar. Tar is used to mark a sheep. Jack tar, a sailor. Taradiddle, a fib or falsity. Tarpaulin, a coarse clove tarred over, also figuratively a sailor. Tarring and feathering, a punishment lately inflicted by the good people of Boston on any person convicted or suspected of loyalty. Such delinquents being stripped naked were daubed all over with tar and afterwards put into a hogshead of feathers. Tart, sour, sharp, quick, pert. Tartar, to catch a tartar, to attack one of superior strength or abilities. This saying originated from a story of an Irish soldier in the imperial service who, in a battle against the Turks, called out to his comrades that he had caught a Tartar. "Bring him along, then," said he. "He won't come," answered Paddy. "Then come along yourself," replied his comrade. "Arrah!" cried he, "but he won't let me. A Tartar is also an adept at any feat or game. He is quite a Tartar at cricket or billiards." Tat, tit for tat, an equivalent. Tats, false dice. Tatler, a watch, to flash a tatler, to wear a watch. Tatmonger, one that uses false dice. Tatterdemalion, a ragged fellow whose clothes hang all in tatters. Tattoo, a beat of the drum, a signal for soldiers to go to their quarters, and a direction to the sutlers to close the tap. And 2. No more liquor for them. It is generally beat at 9 in summer and 8 in winter. The devil's tattoo, beating with one's foot against the ground, as done by persons in low spirits. Tor, a schoolboy's game played with small round balls, made of stone dust, cattled marbles. I'll be one upon your tor presently, a species of fret. Tor dry, garish, gaudy, with lace or staring and discordant colours, a term said to be derived from the shrine and altar of St. Audrey, an isle of Eli Saintus, which for finery exceeded all others thereabouts, so as to become proverbial. Hence, any fine-dressed man or woman said to be all St. Audrey, and by contraction all tawdry. Tawed, beaten. Tail, see tail. Tawly, tail drawers. Thieves who snatched gentlemen's swords from their sides. He drew the coal's tail rumly, he snatched away the gentleman's sword cleverly. Tailor, 9 tailors make a man, an ancient and common saying originating from the effeminacy of their employment, or, as some have it, from 9 tailors having been robbed by one man. According to others, from the speech of a Woyland draper, meaning that the custom of 9 tailors would make or enrich one man. A London tailor, rated to furnish half a man to the trained bands, asking how that could possibly be done, was answered by sending 4 journeymen and an apprentice, pewter tailor, a weaver, and a miller into a sack, shake them well, and the first that puts out his head is certainly a thief. A tailor is frequently styled prick-louse, assaults on those vermin with their needles. Tailor's goose, an iron with which, when heated, press down the seams of clothes. Tea voider, a chamber pot. Tea Guland, Island. Tea Glanders, Irishman. Tears of the tankard, the drippings of liquor on a man's waistcoat. Teddy, my godson, an address to a supposed simple fellow or naysay. Tease, to nap the tease, to receive a whipping, cunt. Temple pickling, pumping a bailiff, a punishment formerly administered to any of that fraternity court exercising their functions within the limits of the temple. 10 toes, see Bayard of 10 toes. 10 in the 100, a ussurer more than 5 in the 100 being deemed usurious interest. Tenant at will, one whose wife usually fetches him from the alehouse. Tenant for life, a married man, i.e. possessed of a woman for life. Tender parnell, a tender creature, fearful of the least puff or of wind or drop of rain, a tender as Parnell, who broke her finger in a posset drink. Termagant, an outrageous scold from the termagant, a cruel pagan, formerly represented in diners, shows, and entertainments, where being dressed in a la torque, in long clothes, he was mistaken for a furious woman. Terra firma, an estate in land. Tester, a 6pence from Teston, a coin with a head on it. Tetbury portion, a fuck and a clap. Thames. He will not find out a way to set the Thames on fire. He will not make any wonderful discoveries. He is no conjurer. Fatch gallows, a rogue or man of bad character. Thick, intimate, they are as thick as 2 inkle weavers. Thief, you are a thief and a murderer. You have killed a baboon and stole his face. Vulgar abuse. Thief in a candle, part of the wick or snuff, which falling on the tallow burns and melts it, and causing it to gutter, thus steals it away. Thief-takers, fellows who associate with any kind of villain in order to betray them. When they have committed any of these crimes, which entitle the person taking them to a handsome reward, called blood money, it is the business of these thief-takers to furnish subjects for a handsome execution at the end of every sessions. Thimble, a watch. The swell flashes a rum thimble. The gentleman sports a fine watch. Thingstable, Mr. Thingstable. Mr. Constable, a ludicrous affectation of delicacy in avoiding the pronunciation of the first syllable in the title of that officer, which in sound has some similarity to indecent monosyllable. Thingamabob, Mr. Thingamabob, a vulgar address or nomination of any person whose name is unknown, the same as Mr. What-d'ye-call-em. Thingamabobs, testicles. Thirding, a custom practised at the universities, where 2/3 of the original price is allowed by the upholsterers to the students for household goods returned to them within the year. 13er, a shilling in Ireland, which there passes for 13p. Thomond, like Lord Thomond's cocks, all on one side. Lord Thomond's cock-feeder, an Irishman, being entrusted with some cocks, which were matched for a considerable sum. The night before the battle shut them all together in one room, concluding that as they were all on the same side, they would not disagree. The consequence was they were most of them either killed or lamed before the morning. Thomas, a man's penis. Fawns, to be or sit upon fawns, to be uneasy, impatient, anxious for an event. Thornback, an old maid. Thorough churchman, a person who goes in at one door of a church and out at the other without stopping. Thorough good-natured wench, one who being asked to sit down will lie down. Thorough go nimble, a looseness, a violent purging. Thorough cough, coughing and breaking wind backwards at the same time. Thorough stitch, to go through stitch, to stick at nothing. Over shoes, over boots. Fort. What did Fort do? Lay in bed and be shat himself. Of Fort he was up reproof to anyone who excuses himself for any breach of positive orders, by pleading that he fought to the contrary.